So we have laid the foundation. We have laid the foundation for what we're about to do, which is checking violators. .js. So we'll call that. So let's create something brand new. We need some data because what we want to do is to check for violators. So first of all, we need to simulate the parking data. So we need some test data. So right here, I'm going to create an array of data, and we need some fields like vehicle number. So we choose some random one, ABC 123, and we need the start time of when that vehicle parked. So this could be data from a database. I'm just creating an array as a place and as an example, but sometimes or in the real life scenario, it will be data that has been gathered via sensors and cameras on the road. Okay, so we have that. We close that up. So let's see if we can copy that line and then create another. So within there, I have this should come here. Okay, so let's copy that line, copy it over again so we can save some time. So we need like 5 records just to simulate. So this we can call this one XYZ 456. Start time, let's change it to 10. Let's change that to 10, 13. So let's make sure they're all compliant for a start. Later I'll come back here and tweak them. So this one is LMN789. Let me just change this column. How they go? DF321. Just some random plate numbers. If this matches your current plate number, apologize. It's just random. It's just a lucky guess. Let's come to this column, change this one to 14, then change this one to 8. Um, what are we going to give this one now? Let's just give this one, say, 11. 11. Let's come to this column, the end time, 12, 13. We already have that here. 16, 11, 14. So let's go to the last park time, 15. Let's change this one to 17. Let's change this one to 12. Let's change this one. Oh, I forgot to remove that one there. Let's change this one to 16. Okay. So this is just an array of numbers. If I run the code, so clear the screen. If I run the code, it's not going. Oh, I'm running the last one. So if I run the code, let's clear that up. So this time it's not pack.js. I'm doing check-in violator.js. Okay. Um, why is that giving us an error? Did I make a mistake in the typo? Check-in violators. Yes. So I made a mistake. There is an S. Okay. So that gave us blank because, of course, we're not consoling anything out. So let's make sure. So it's blank. So that's just to let us know that we're in the right direction, no errors, but nothing is being consoled out because we're not consoling anything out. We've just so far gathered some data. So we have the start time, the time when the vehicle started parking, end time, the time when the vehicle left, the last park time, that means the last time they parked, which is used for checking the 2-hour rule. So for us to check the parking violations, we will create a function to loop through each vehicle and check. Number one, if the parking duration exceeds 3 hours. Then two, if the vehicle returns to the parking lot before 2 hours have passed since they last left. Okay, so let's begin. So we're used to these variables already. Start time is equals to 9. Um, is equals to 9. Put a semicolon there. I'm not going to put a comment because we're used to what it means already. 17. We're using the 24-hour format, so that means um, 5 p.m. Then we introduce another variable here, maximum um, parking duration. We're saying 3 hours. Did I have a typo here? Parking duration. Okay. Then let me put a semicolon. Not necessary, but just to make it a little bit look nice. Minimum return time. That means the minimum number of hours you should wait for before you come back. So let's create our first function here. Check parking violation. Check parking violation. So this parking violation data, takes in the data set. First of all, we just assume there are no violators. So we have an empty array here, okay, where we store in the violators if they are. But for a start, we'll just say that there is none. So that's why we're declaring it as empty. So we'll take the data. So for each of the data, that means each of the data in our data set, we want to call each of them as vehicle. Okay, so what we want to do for each of the row, we want to say constant. Okay, take the vehicle number. I think we have a typo here. B, let's go back. There's a B, B. I know it's a recorded video. Um, Otherwise, someone would have drawn my attention to it. But thank God, the IntelliSense has made me see that. Vehicle number, start time, end time. Did I spell start time correctly? Yes. Last last park time. Okay. All equals to vehicle. Okay. So let's check. Do we have any typo there? Everything looks good so far. Okay. All right. So still within, we want to say check. Let's give a space there. So we want to say check if the parking. Next, we want to check if the parking duration exceeded the allowed time, because the allowed time is 3 hours. So how do we do that? So we declare variable parking duration. Parking duration is equals to end time minus start time. That makes sense, doesn't it? So we check if that parking duration, the number of period that they stay, if it's greater than, I already agreed, maximum parking duration. Okay. So if it's greater than that, of course, this person is a violator. So we want to remember that empty array violations that was empty at the beginning. We want to push in, we want to push in this particular violator in there. So we say vehicle number. Okay. We want to say violation. So we'll put in a backtick because we want to put in the variable here, packed for more than three. That means that particular vehicle parked for more than 3 hours. Okay. Um, Parked for, so we indicate the number of hours that they parked for, so that when it's time to discuss the issue, there is a context, which is the number of hours. Okay. Hours. Okay. I think I got that right. Um, Yeah. So let's go back here. All right. So that we close that out nicely. Okay. There we go. So what we have done so far is to loop through each of the data and then check if there is a violation. Okay. So let's run this and make sure there is no error so far. So no error is coming out. Let's check if everything is closing out. So this function is a very pretty long one, but it is doing to what it needs to do. Okay. So the next thing that we are going to do is to, of course, we have to return because after it has done that computation, we have to ensure that it returns the violations. So it takes in the data and then it tells us back what the list of violators that we have. So we create another function. So run the check and log the violations. Um, so we utilize that function rather. So we say constant violations is equals to check parking violations. So let's use we use the data that we declared before. So we're trying to utilize that function here that we just created. So constant violations equals to checking violations. Then we're using that parking data. So remember, we just only declare this variable, this function here takes in the data. What this data means can be any data, but in this case now we have this data set which is called parking data. So this check-in violation function, we're using it right here, and we are giving it as an input um, parking data, and then the list of violations that it returns will be stored here. So what we want to do is then go ahead and when it gives us the violations list, we want to say if violations dot length. What it means if that array contains violators, that means if it's greater than 0, we want to say for each violations, for each item in it as v. Okay. Um, we want to say console.log show us the list. I'll print out the ticket so that we can send it to their address. It's not something I would want my vehicle list to be on, but it is what it is. Um, try to stay out of that kind of situation as much as possible. Bend the rules. Okay. Vehicle vehicle number. Vehicle number. I'll just click here to go out of that nicely. Violated the rule. Okay. What rule? Guess I'm asking them what rule? This is the rule, brother. Violation. Okay. That looks nice. Looks nice. Yeah. So if that is the case, do that. But if there's no violator and the array is empty, just console.log. Just tell us that there is no violations. Everybody's happy on that day. Everybody's law abiding. Okay. So that looks nice. So if I go down now, let's clear this out. Check violators. Okay, so let's see. So when I run this again, I keep getting that error. Been able to spot where that error is. I'm going to show you right now. Um, so if we scroll up on this error folder, we didn't scroll up. So we say check parking violations is not defined. Okay, that is true. So just a single character can throw up, just mess up everything. So you see the function that was defined is called check parking violation. So there is no S. So if we remove that S and then we clear the screen and then run it again, okay, that error is no more there. But now we get another error. Okay, so data for each is not a function. So if we go back up right now, and we'll see for each here was supposed to be for each, but for each. Okay, so if we correct that, so that is one way to look at your diagnose and see where you can make changes. So if we clear that now and then run the script again. So right now we don't have, it said no violations found. Okay, everybody's law abiding on that day. So, but the reason why no violation was found because everybody was obeying, they were obeying the rule, staying within 3 hours, coming back within 2 hours. You see 9 to 12, 3 hours, 10 to 13, 14. So this could be thousands of records, but I'm just using just 5 records. So this could be thousands of records from a database. Uh, but let's make this guy a violator. Element 589. Let's say he packs 14. Okay. Instead of 14, he packed at 10. So meaning this guy stayed for 4 hours. 4 hours. Okay. So if we run the script again, remember there wasn't any violator before. If we run it now, you see, it just prints just that guy. Vehicle element violated the rule, packed for more than 3 hours. So he packed for 6 hours. Okay, so that can be printed as a ticket and then sent to the violator. Okay, let's return it back and make him a nice guy again. So if we log, no violations. So if we have multiple violators, let's take him back to a violator, take this guy back to this one to a violator. So if we run, clear the screen, do it again, you see it prints out the list of violator. Okay, so that is a way to use JavaScript to solve a problem like this.